Let's bring in Danny here on set with us and talk about what we have learned so far in opening statements. Trump's attorney said that the evidence demonstrates that there was no intent to defraud and also that the loan transactions were, quote, successful and profitable. Is that enough? What do you make so far of what we know of the defense strategy?
We can break that up into two parts. The first part, the no intent to defraud, that is relevant. That is something we can expect the defense to put in evidence about. The second part, not so powerful. The idea that banks, there was no harm, no foul because we actually paid back all our loans on time and nobody actually suffered any injuries. That misunderstands how finances work. And Trump knows this. This is a world that he lives in and knows very well. When you defraud a bank in order to get, for example, a favorable loan, if you give them false information, then you're exposing the bank to risk it isn't aware of. And that is the harm visited upon the bank. Yes, in fact, nothing bad happened because, as he says, maybe he paid the loans back. But you can imagine that that rationale would mean that you could lie to banks all the time to get favorable loan terms as long as you pay your money back on time. That's not how the business world works. That's not how finance works.
So, Lindsay, the prosecutor's first witness was Donald Bender. That's Trump's former accountant. What did we hear from his testimony, and do we know anything about Trump's reaction to that?
And he testified last year at the tax fraud trial against Trump Organization companies. He testified that he compiled the financial statements that the Attorney General's office says included inflated values using information provided by the former president and his team. Now, the president, according to our producers and reporters inside the courtroom, appeared beet red during some of this testimony, was whispering to his attorneys. But also the judge appeared to hand him a minor win at the end, essentially saying that some of this testimony did appear old, that it would have to be tailored to the statute of limitations at hand, which the president did decree as a victory once that court adjourned for the day.
Danny, we heard from the former president himself several times outside the courtroom yesterday. Put in context kind of how often we see something like that, the defendant themselves talking so much, and also what could that potentially mean if he were to take the stand? What would testimony kind of mean when we're hearing so much from him as it is?
Here's what you do sometimes see, and I've done this myself. After a verdict is entered, and whether it's good or bad for your client, sometimes the client or the attorney go to the courthouse steps. We've seen this in movies. And they vow to appeal, or they talk about the case. Prosecutors do this, too. That's not what Trump's doing. This is the middle of the trial. He's walking out into the hallway, it looks like. And I've been in that courthouse many times. I think I know where he is. He's not that far away from the courtroom. So he's going into the hallway, basically, and complaining about the judge yards away from where the judge is. And you wonder, if you're the judge, what do you do about that? Do you send court staff out there to shoo everybody away? You're not just shooing away some litigant. You're shooing away the former president and a Secret Service detail and an entire gaggle of reporters, press, photographers, everything. So maybe if Justice Engoron even knew about it, he probably just thought, let him go. But you don't do those kinds of things to a judge who is still deciding your fate, especially when this is a bench trial and there is no jury. The judge, who has already signaled how he feels about the defense, is going to be listening. Now, does that mean he'll be biased against Trump? Not necessarily, but it's never a good idea to annoy a judge.
Absolutely. Danny Cevallos here on set with us. Lindsay Reiser just downtown from us outside the courthouse. Thank you so much both for kicking us off as day 2 unfolds.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.